Hi, I'm Jennifer, and I'm joined here by my fellow Jennifer from Angel City in Los Angeles. Thank you for being here.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
One of the first questions I would like to ask you is if you could please provide a brief summary of your current role and primary responsibilities.
I am the head of content for Angel City Football Club, which is a new professional women's soccer team coming to Los Angeles. We start play in April of 2022. We're about to hit our first birthday as an organization, which is very exciting. What I do is a very simple way of putting it is if it's out there and you can see it or read it or hear it, it probably came from the content team. So it's anything from all of our everything on our social platforms, the graphics we do, the talk series we do, whether it's on an IG Live or a Twitter Spaces or Clubhouse. It's a lot of the visual stuff that our graphic designers work on, the billboards that you see around town, or the posters, the in original content series, things that we do out in the community, things that we do with our supporters groups. So all of sort of our video and audio and graphical content that you see out there, it either gets executed by our content team. Yeah.
That's great. Second question is, what key lessons have you learned from working in sports throughout your career?
Ooh, it's a good question. So I've had a long sports career. Before I worked at Angel City, I was at Fox Sports for 19 years and worked in television production. And I would say just through, and now being on that, working for a team, it's still the sort of same industry of sports, but it's incredibly different. So I feel like I'm just learning new things all the time. But generally speaking, it's just that a couple things that it's fun and it's wonderful. It's sports. So in a sense, it's entertainment. That being said, like I've really understood and learned the value of entertainment and how it fits into society. It's really this thing that helps us almost with like our mental wellness in a way. It's our escape. It's what helps us, get past like our daily troubles and obstacles, and it's that thing that we look to for relief and for some respite. And so while it is all fun and games, I guess technically, there's a real value to it. And so I've learned that over the years, that there's an importance to sports and to entertainment. And also I've just learned that it's hard. It's a lot of work. In the best sense. When are you watching sports? You're watching them at night, you're watching them on the weekends, you're watching them on holidays. And so because of that, it means that, the people who work in sports were working on weekends and nights and holidays. And so you really have to be prepared and ready for that different type of lifestyle. Because you're going to be working at the times because you're providing something for people when they're supposed to be resting. And so you just have to be mentally prepared for that, and like welcome that challenge and welcome that life. And I enjoy it. I really do. I'm a workaholic a bit. I really enjoy knowing that we might be pulling all-nighters on things and working through weekends. Maybe not every day, but you just have to be prepared for it, because it's not a 9-to-5 job. It really is not. And that's one of the things I love about it.
Building off of that, do you have one or two career highlights or accomplishments that you're most proud of?
Let's see. Well, from my time at Fox Sports, some of the work I'm the most proud of is work that we did with the United States military. We really did a lot to try to shine a light on what our servicemen and women do all over the globe, and the sacrifices that they make for us. And so being able to do some projects with them and just get to understand what they go through and the sacrifices that they make for us was always just really eye-opening and wonderful. And I really appreciated everything I got to do for that. Also, I would say one of my favorite times in television was working with the U.S. women's national team during the World Cups for soccer, and really enjoyed, especially when they win back-to-back World Cups. It makes it much more enjoyable. But working with those players in the team, some of my greatest times. And then I'd say with Angel City, couple of highlights are just the fact that everything we do is sort of infused with this with our values and purpose. And so we're just so much in the community and meeting people and trying to highlight the stories of the people that live in Los Angeles and the things that they do and how they contribute to this community. And I really love that. I just love that we're a part and trying to build something and be a part of the fabric of this community in Los Angeles. And most recently being able to work specifically on the development of our crest and colors. I mean, I think when we started the project, it didn't really set into my brain that we were creating essentially a logo for a professional sports team. And I didn't really think about what a big deal that is at the time. You know, I think we were all just kind of nose down and eyes forward and working. But slowly but surely I realized, oh my God, this is a really big deal and a once in a lifetime opportunity to be involved with this project. And hopefully, you know, we'll be seeing people in countries all over the world just wearing hats with our crest on it, and to be able to like randomly be walking the streets of, you know, of Berlin or Tokyo or Sydney, Australia, and seeing our logo is something I'm really looking forward to.
That's amazing. And as someone who's had a great experience in the sports industry world, what advice would you offer to students or young professionals who are looking to get a foot into that career?
I really am a big fan of, I mean, it's tough, right? Because it's an exciting, it seems like a very exciting world, you know, of sports entertainment. But as I said before, it's really hard. But trying to break in can be tough. And so I really encourage people to just tell everybody you know or everybody you meet what you're trying to do and where you're trying to be. Because if somebody's going to know somebody and somebody, you know, and that somebody's going to know somebody, you just have to network and like get to know people, because people like to help and people like to, you know, to make connections. And that's the only time that's how I've gotten everywhere in life, is just I kind of, you know, tell the world what I'm trying to do, and somebody eventually points you in the right direction or knows somebody, and then that person knows somebody, and then you just get your foot in the door, and then you just got to kill it. You know, you just have to always be, you know, always say yes, just do every job that you can. It doesn't matter if you think you're overqualified for it or not, you know, just get in, you know, get in the door, show people what you can do, show them your value, and eventually that'll pay off. And just, I always like to say, it's like at first you need to, you know, put your head down and do your work, but at the same time, you also need to constantly like lift your head up and make sure that you are a person, a human in the place that you're working. Because at some point your work can be phenomenal and you need to do that well. And you need to always start with doing your job well. But if nobody around you and nobody in the organization that you're working in knows who you are, then it's going to be really hard for you to advance. You know, this is a people business, like everything's kind of a people business. And, you know, I'm not saying you need to put on a big show of a personality, but you just need to make sure that, you know, you're talking to people and meeting people and never being afraid to talk to anybody. If you're in the elevator with the president of your company, say hello. It doesn't matter if you're, you know, making $15 an hour and they're the president. Introduce yourself and say hello, and suddenly your face and suddenly your name. And then the next time you get to say more than hello in your name. And you just have to like build relationships, because that's what all of this is about in almost any industry. So do good work, but make sure people then know the face of that work.
That's great advice. Thank you so much for joining me, Jennifer. And I really appreciate you speaking so open and candidly about your experience.
My pleasure.